snakes. Lots of wild birds nesting within the forest areas, of course. We came in the far side. That's the road we came in, and we looked up and we saw the church, didn't we? Yeah. So the church is right on top of you now. 7,500 years ago, it was known as the Mesolithic period. And the Mesolithic period was all about the nomads, the wanderers, the inventors of the flint stone and the axe, all from flint, of course. But more importantly, we were an island, forest. We were a forest island. We were 100% forestry. That is known as the Mesolithic period, integrated with the nomads, etc. Very shortly. I'll put it to you this way, the only way you could travel around Ireland was by river, or around the coast by sea. There were no roads. This is probably part of the Vartry Lake, the Vartry River at one stage. And this is an example of how Ireland would have looked. And you might see in some of the rivers, when you look down to your right, the further we drive into the forest area. So it'll give you a flavour of what Ireland was like way back then. Way back then, dense, pure dense forestry. And you can see it here on your right for miles. You can see the little rivers down to your right for miles, further down again, all to your left. And no wonder it's the headquarters here on your left of the Forestry Division in Ireland. So we go up the hills and down the little hills here and around the little bends.
And what's the name of the forest, did you say?
Wicklow National Forest Park.
Wicklow National Forest Park.
And the deeper we go into it, the more of a feel you get for that. It's just an example, because there's so much around us. There's so much forest around us. But these nomads were simple creatures, they were warm creatures. Accommodation was modest in the design of an igloo. You all know what an igloo looks like. It's a tent, if you like. The size, well, it could be 10 metres by 20 metres, or 3 metres by 6, depending on the size of your family. And in the centre, of course, was the fireplace. And just above that, you created a little chimney. Not very environmentally friendly, but when I say they were warm, they were warm. Because these houses, if you like, they're cosy accommodation, and it was cosy and it was warm, because they were made of straw, thatch and straw. And they were pegged into the ground with sticks. Of course, they invented the flint so they could light fires. They invented the axe, made of flint, so they could chop wood. So accommodation was warm and cozy, and they had their fire. Very economic to live. They were fishermen. Great fishermen. And they'd fish in the rivers. That's how you survived. They'd also feed from wild berries. Berries you could eat. All that stuff was around. But the only way they could travel was by river. Simply because there were no roadways. You just had dense forest and your rivers. And you could take your igloo